everyone, welcome back. We have another dermatologist reaction video and we are joined by board certified dermatologist Dr. Jenny Liu from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you. Today we're really excited to talk about Teresa because she's in her mid-30s, which I feel like is a big request. Anybody in their 30s, 40s, 50s, anything older than 20, people are like, please, we want to know. Our skin is changing so much. She also says that she has combination skin. She has some sensitivities that she's dealing with her skin and eczema.
Yeah, so there's a lot we can talk about today.
All right, so before we get started, I just always want to point out that while Dr. Jenny Liu is a board certified dermatologist, this is not medical advice. This is purely for information and also for entertainment.
Hello, my name is Teresa, and I am here to show you my nightly skincare routine. Hoping to get some expert advice. I'm in my mid-30s, so I am looking to see if I need to add a retinol, a vitamin C, or something else that you're supposed to do in your mid-30s.
It's funny to hear that, right? Like something, it's like you hear these things, it's like the things you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about somebody saying that they're supposed to have a retinol in their mid-30s?
You don't have to really have any of these products in your routine, but you really should, everybody, regardless of age, is the basics that I think of skincare, which is cleansing, moisturizing, and then using a sunscreen in the morning. Everything else is non-essential.
But if you do have skin issues that you want to deal with,
yeah, definitely those would be great ingredients to incorporate.
Yeah, I've seen this uptick in people who are like, I'm 20, do I need to start using retinol? What do you think about these types of comments?
You know, I think this has to do with, again, their goals, and a lot of individuals in their 20s who may still be struggling with acne, and so they may be using like a retinoid prescription or over-the-counter like adapalene that'd be helping with their acne and helping a little bit with the premature aging or anti-aging benefits. But I don't think there is anything wrong to start adding in like anti-aging ingredients at an early age. But first and foremost, you always have to have the basics down, and you can't not be really using any sort of anti-aging products without using sun protection on a regular basis.
Yeah, sun protection really is shining. It should have always been the shining star in skincare, but now I feel like it finally has found its place.
Absolutely.
I'm combination, so oily in a T-zone, normal everywhere else. And I also have eczema and also very sensitive to, I feel like, everything. But this is what my routine is right now.
Okay, so she's got combination skin, she has eczema, and then she feels like she's sensitive to everything. Is that something that comes with having eczema?
Yeah, often you will see individuals with eczema can have more sensitivity, more likely to have a poor tolerance to skincare products. They may burn, they have more dry skin at baseline. And so this is where you want to be mindful of what you're using and how you use them as well.
Can you tell us what eczema is?
Yeah, eczema, I feel like it's just an overarching term to describe inflamed skin, and often with dry skin. There's different types of eczema. There is like what we call atopic dermatitis we typically see in younger kids. Often there is a genetic component to it, so there may be a family history and the same person, or maybe a family history of like seasonal allergies or asthma. But then there are also like dry skin eczema that a lot of us can get. In Minneapolis in the dead of winter, all of us can experience what we call xerotic eczema, so dry skin eczema. And there's also like other forms like hand eczema, and even like seborrheic dermatitis is a form of eczema. But basically at the heart of all of these types of eczema is really again a defective skin barrier. Obviously with the atopic dermatitis, with that genetic component, it's like the chicken and the egg. Like what came first, right? Is it the genes, or is it like the environment that caused a dry skin? But at the heart of it is really just a defective skin barrier. So there are
defective skin barrier. We need to return this skin barrier right now. Yeah, I know.
But basically, it's your skin is not healthy and it's not doing its job, which is like keeping water in and keeping bad things out. And then, with that, you get inflammation, and then you can get dry skin, and the more extreme end is like that dermatitis, red, itchy, flaky skin.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So it makes sense that her skin would be sensitive.
Yeah.
And basically sensitive to everything, as she says. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into her nighttime routine. She does not share her morning skincare routine with us, so we're hopping right into the nighttime. But I have a feeling, since she's asking about vitamin C and stuff, we're gonna have some thoughts on morning as well.
When I first start to get undone, I will use the spa cleansing water from skin though. It doesn't irritate my eyes. I don't have a burning sensation or anything in it. It says it contains natural spa water, oil-free and mildly acidic, and it gets everything off that I want to come off. So I only use this on my eyes. So if I actually have anything on my lid, eyeliner, shadow, any concealer, whatever, but for my mascara primarily. And I always use it with this little cotton pad from Shiseido. I really like these pads because I feel like they're super soft. They're really gentle on my lids, you know, because it's a very sensitive area, and it gets all the junk off.
I will say, I do love those Shiseido cotton pads too.
Yeah,
I used to talk about them
really
all
nice.
the time.
So I just put a couple
she's gonna do her routine for us.
Cotton pad, about this much. I used to do corners, and then I just put it on my eye. I kind of just let it sit there so it can soak in and get all the product loose, and then I'll just gently push it out to one side until I get everything out. I gotta do it on both eyes, so I did one corner, now I gotta do the other corner. Same thing, a couple dabs, soaking, waiting for it to come off. Okay, I'm back. Then I follow with this Uemura cleansing oil. I love this stuff. They have many versions. I used to use the Ultimate 8, but I felt like that was too heavy. The consistency was very thick. I actually really like this because it's an antioxidant for pollutant and dullness, and it's clarifying. I use this with makeup, if I'm wearing makeup, and without makeup. So I use this daily as a double cleanse. And I know that I can use this on my eyes. I personally don't like to use it on my eyes because I can't see whether or not I got all this mascara off. So that's why I like to use this. So it might be a little bit of overkill, but this is how I feel I get clean. So I will use 2 pumps of this if I don't have any makeup on, and then 3 pumps if I do. So rubbing it together and just working it in. And then not really needing to focus on my eyes because I've already taken everything off with the spa water. Just getting everything. I like to work under my chin and on the side of my jawline because I have to wear a mask every day at work for sometimes 10 hours a day. And then we wash with water.
It's so funny because she answered the question I had in my head, because I was like, well, if she's using a cleansing oil, why not remove your eye makeup with that?
Yeah.
But then she explained her reasoning behind it. And I actually think there are a lot of people who don't want to use a cleansing oil on their eye area. What are your thoughts so far?
So I'm curious to see if she's gonna follow this with another cleanser, because that's like a triple cleanse in some ways.
Yeah.
And I think that may be a little bit too much for her, especially her eczema and dry skin.
Even though she's keeping the micellar water to the
I worry
eyes.
that may be a little too much.
I like micellar water.
Yeah.
I have no problem with micellar water, but whenever I watch anyone remove their eye makeup, I know that she's like very particular, like she said, and she likes to get in there. Like she saw a speck and she's like, not today.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, even if you are being gentle, you are still rubbing every single day, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So in my opinion, you know, like sometimes that rubbing just can be very...
It can be irritating.
It can be a lot. It can be irritating, but also as I've gotten older, I've realized all of that, like even just like when you rub your eyes when they're like sensitive to something, you're just like, you're constantly tugging and rubbing on the skin that's so sensitive and so thin.
Right. I mean, our eyelids are very delicate, and so I agree. I actually will not use any sort of wipes or pads or cotton, whatever. I just use my hands, especially around my eyes, with whatever balm or oil, and that's, for me, works really well.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But that said, I mean, if she really refuses to put the oil around her eyes, it is what it is. I think it's just knowing is knowing, right?
So right now we are emulsifying.
Love it.
And as we are, or I am, washing, it's just very gentle circular motions. I don't apply hard pressure. And then we actually wash with this PCA facial wash, which was recommended by my esthetician. She said there's some lactic acids and some other things in here that my skin really loved. Been using this for years, and by years I mean like almost 10 years, and I haven't switched or changed anything, and I haven't noticed a difference in it. So I use a very little bit. I don't know if you guys can see this, but just not even, maybe the size of a dime.
So she does have 3 cleansers, like you suspected, but we kind of, it's kind of a standstill because our suggestion would probably be to skip the spa water.
Yeah.
Maybe it's using the cleansing oil, then using her face wash, and then taking a Q-tip.
I was just about to mention that, just going just gently on the lash line to clean up any residual
with the
residue.
spa water.
Yeah.
That would be the better way to do it.
Or
and less rubbing.
Right. Or if there's like a cleansing oil that she finds to be helpful or effective in removing everything, that can save her like the 3rd step. But I agree. I think using a little Q-tip too.
That way she's not like rubbing, right?
And now I just wash. I go. Alright, and then after my cleanse, I will start with this essence here from this brand. I also did want to mention that sometimes when I feel like my skin has been really dirty, or if I did a lot of outdoor activities, if I was exercising a lot, that I will actually soap up with this, leave the soap on, and then use this tool here to cleanse even deeper, just get all the dirt and sweat and stuff off. So we're going to start with this. I just pour it into my hands.
Before she gets into that Caudalie, we actually didn't talk about her PCA cleanser, so she's actually giving us a good opportunity to discuss it a little bit, especially now that she said that she brings out the Foreo, the cleansing brush, right?
Yeah.
So the PCA, actually, I think it's a fine cleanser. It does have lactic acid. We saw that it has some willow bark extract in it, so it's got some gentle exfoliation, maybe even more so, like it might even be more anti-inflammatory in some ways, just depending on how it's formulated.
Right.
So I think that's fine. What do you think about somebody with eczema using a cleansing brush?
I'm not a big fan.
Yeah?
Yeah, because, for the majority, when she's already doing that double cleanse, you're getting rid of the oil and the sweat, and maybe she's not feeling clean, but really, I'm not a fan of that. I think that can really cause more irritation.
It's really just that manual, one, you already think she's maybe cleansing too much, right? And then 2, adding that extra manual cleansing is too much for her. Okay.
I think it's a personal preference, but definitely those with more sensitive and eczema prone skin, less is more.
Okay, so let's get into this Caudalie essence that she's using, which I think is really interesting and an interesting choice for her.
Just a dab, not even, and just apply it like this. And then give that a moment to dry so it can like truly soak in. And then nightly and daily actually, I start with this, or not start, but I add this into it.
Before we get into her applying the Estee Lauder, the Glycolic Essence is really interesting. I think it's a nice product. I really do. But I'm finding interesting choices for somebody who says that they're sensitive to everything, right? What are your thoughts on this?
It's definitely not my first go-to when, recommending an essence for those individuals with eczema-prone skin. I mean, I personally love a good essence. Yeah. An essence that can really help to rebalance the skin, add hydration. But yeah, with the ingredients listed in this product, I'm not so sure if it's the right one for her. Yeah, especially when she's saying like products burn, a lot of times burn, and she's sensitive.
I think if she is using this on a nightly basis, that means she's using glycolic acid on a nightly basis, which some people can tolerate. I know that. But when we look at what she's told us, right, she's saying her skin is sensitive. Yeah. So glycolic acid on a nightly basis might be too much.
Absolutely.
I think this is an interesting time to point out that, there is fragrance in this. And I always want to point out, I am a big fan of fragrance myself. I totally have no problem with it because my skin is not sensitive and my skin can tolerate a lot. So I have never had an issue with fragrance. But when somebody says they are having sensitive skin problems, right?
And especially when, products burn and their skin is just sensitive all the time, I think some something to consider removing from their skincare.
That's when I think it's valid to bring it up. You know, I'm always hesitant to even bring it up because I don't want people to take this as, you know, in general, just remove fragrance from everything. It's really, if you are saying that you have this like burning sensation, you might want to look at then the fact that you've got fragrance in your products, right? Okay. So instead of using a glycolic essence at night, what do you think would be better for her?
I think a hydrating essence, if she really enjoys using essence, I think is a great option.
Definitely. Or just some kind of a hydrating serum, right?
Yeah, even that.
Do we want to remove all exfoliation from her skincare routine? No, right?
No, I mean, she can, you know, either replace using that toner a few times a week or replace her routine at night with maybe like a leave-on treatment that's of exfoliating properties.
Like maybe a little bit more gentle though, like PHAs or mandelic acid
or lactic acid.
And by the way, I'm looking at Teresa's skin and I honestly, I see like beautiful, perfect skin. So, you know, like we're only saying this stuff because it has been submitted to us, right? And we're like, okay, well, if she's asking for suggestions, here's what we think.
And I do about 3 drops and lay it on my finger and I rub it in. I found that this really helps my skin, especially this area that's covered with a mask. I don't feel like my skin gets that dehydrated, tight feeling, which is the reason why I bought this. I originally went into Macy's wanting to buy like lactic acid, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, like all these things to help with moisture and everything else that you're supposed to buy when you're 30s. And the person recommended this because it has everything in there as a one and done thing.
Okay, I think that that is a great product, the Estee Lauder product. I do not have any problems with it. What I have a problem with is that people think it is a one and done product. But it's not. This is actually the first time I've heard somebody tell me why they like to use this. She's like, it helps. My skin is like, you know, when I wear a mask, my skin gets, it helps with that hydration and makes my skin feel nicer. That makes complete sense with this product because I feel like that is what it does. It has that fermented bifida ingredient in it, that extract, which will help with like some brightening too for sure. But I feel like that's just really soothing for the skin and feels really nice. And then there's some peptides in here too. And then overall, it's like an antioxidant product, serum, like very hydrating and very soothing to the skin. So what she said makes complete sense. But knowing that she went in to get vitamin C and
hyaluronic acid,
which I would say this is definitely better than just plain hyaluronic acid serum. But then she's also like said that she wanted lactic acid, for instance, which we know does completely different things than this product that she's putting on right now. So while I wouldn't say she needs to get rid of it, I would say she's not getting those benefits from this product.
Absolutely.
An eye cream. This is from PCA, also recommended by my esthetician. She said this was the only one that you could use on both the top and bottom eyelids. So
not the only, I mean, I think it's the reason to use an eye cream is because they formulate it to be maybe like thin enough or not transfer. And usually when it's an eye cream, you can use it on your top lid as well.
About a pomegranate size. And then I like to smear it first and then dab it in so I can kind of get like a even exposure of the product all over. And then I finish with this. So I like this product a lot. It has ceramide, niacinamide, and hyaluronic acid. Works really well. And that would be it. I do use some face masks. I don't do them nightly from Korean brands. But this is generally my typical everyday nightly routine. Thank you.
Let's unpack this a little bit. First off, we think she needs to kick the Caudalie essence, at least not use it nightly. Right? Maybe once or twice a week. So what would we suggest instead that she puts in, you know, like maybe right after she uses her Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair? What would be something on top of that?
Well, I think she mentioned that, like, wondering if she could use like a retinol or like a retinoid product, which we know is one of the most studied for signs of aging and anti-aging. So I think that's something she could definitely entertain adding into her routine. And how she would do that obviously would be very cautiously, since with her history of eczema and sensitive skin.
So for somebody that has eczema and they're kind of navigating this world of actives, again, I was looking at her skin and I was like, it's really beautiful and clear. She's got an even skin tone. tone from what we can see. Should we be telling somebody to add in actives? I always think about that. Like if their skin looks great, why would we tell them to change anything?
I think if they're really happy and it's working well for them, there's obviously no need to change. But if, if I ever have a patient coming in asking me like, what are your suggestions and what I should be using when it comes to like preventing and treating signs of aging? Well, of course, retinol is by far the most studied ingredient. And so if that is something they are interested in, I recommend. And obviously with somebody with eczema and dry skin, we want to consider like a retinol-based product instead of like a prescription. And then using that, easing your way into it very slowly, and maybe even consider stopping all of the other active ingredients and products while you're introducing that into your routine. But I think she has a really great routine in there. She's really working on the hydration, the skin barrier, which is really, really important, not just for eczema, but also just with, preventing of aging, because we know dry skin, often the fine lines are accentuated and there's more inflammation that can kind of feed into that aging process.
It makes sense. Like the product that she seemed the most excited about was her moisturizer at night, right? Yeah. And she's like, it works really well. So I almost think that when I look at her skincare routine, I'd want her to add in more like barrier support products and ingredients. She mentioned lactic acid. I think lactic acid is a great AHA for her because it also does promote all that, like nice hydration and like ceramide production. That might be what she wants to look for, like a nighttime serum that has, like the Sunday Riley Good Genes, for instance. It's a really nice lactic acid overnight serum.
Yeah, I also like the Biossance lactic acid.
They have a really good one.
It's really nice and gentle.
Yeah, and it's really light too, I feel like. So those are some really good options for her on the nights that she's not using retinol, maybe starting with like once or twice a week though. Just to see how her skin does since she has the eczema. But then like the retinol, like you said, I think like starting with a creamy retinol, like something that's really hydrating and moisturizing for her, right?
Yeah. Even consider like a retinol and a moisturizer in one. I think that's a great option too.
And then in the morning time, do we think that she should add in a vitamin C?
I think that's very much a personal choice. I mean, I love my antioxidant serum, so it's definitely something that I cannot live without. Yep. But it's not one of those things like you must use. If you are really good about moisturizing and using sunscreen, I think that can be enough for you, what your skin needs.
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing to remember is, with your eczema-prone skin, the traditional like liquid serums may sting and burn because of just the formulation. So here, I recommend using more of like the lipid soluble, like the DHT ascorbate, maybe formulated in like a more emulsion, can be better tolerated.
Maybe like more like the vitamin C derivatives. Yeah. And what suggestions would we have if we're saying like something that's a little bit more creamy, but it's a vitamin C derivative?
Yeah, so my favorite that has more studies behind it is the tetrahexyldecyl ascorbate. And so because of the liposolubility, often is formed in more of like a creamy emulsion or even like oil formulation. So the one that I've tried to really like is the Pericone MD. And I think Paula's Choice also has one too.
So morning routine. The only thing that we think is adding in maybe that vitamin C, and then obviously we cross our fingers that she's using a sunscreen. Yeah, and a moisturizer, probably that same one that she's even using with at nighttime, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that was Teresa. Again, Teresa has beautiful skin. I love the attention to detail. I just want to throw out there, Teresa. I appreciated that. She was telling us how she emulsified and all the little steps that she was doing in between, being gentle when she was drying her skin. I appreciate all of that stuff. But obviously, if you're asking, definitely add in that retinol, definitely add in that lactic acid and that vitamin C derivative in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be helpful. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram at derm.talk, as well as my new YouTube channel at Dr. Jenny Liu.
Love it. I'm also on Instagram at Susan Yura, and we'll talk to you soon.